Michelle is a musician with albums released as Everyone Except Me and artist behind the post-apocalyptic webcomic Stray Cats. She's kind, a bit shy, and furiously creative. Henrique is a filmmaker with over 24 films and TV shows as producer, director, and occasionally host. He also released a couple of music albums. He's bombastic, larger than life, and tenacious almost to a fault. Together, they've been best friends for a decade. This show is awkward.
So, Michelle.
Yes.
I just saw you like a couple of days ago, 4 days ago, 3 days ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And we did a show together in your living or your dining room. Sorry, your dining room. That was kind of, what was that like to you? Because we've done, I don't know what this week's episode number is. It's like 90 or something. So we've done like 88 episodes not in the same room. And then we did one in the same room. What was it like for you?
It was weird because I didn't know what to do with myself. But, you know, it was fine.
And what was it like for me?
You were kind of stressed because the things weren't working.
We were having some issues, technical issues at first, which if I hadn't been so exhausted, I think my first thought would have been check the USB cable.
Yeah.
But because I was so tired, I was like, oh, this thing is broken. Also, because of the kind of hurried nature of traveling and then also just happening to bring the podcast setup so that we could record together, made me a little less confident because I didn't have the time to test anything or prep anything really. I literally just went, what microphone in this house is already in a hard case?
Yeah.
The MXL 990, which is the microphone I started my podcasting journey for the most part. I mean, when I started podcasting, in 2005, I had, very cheap microphones for a while, but the first real badass microphone I ever got was the MXL 990, which you're talking into right now.
Yes.
It's easily one of the best mics for the money. At $100, which is like what its retail is, it's a great deal. And if you wait, you can sometimes find them for $60 or $70, which is why I own two, because I had the one that I've had forever. And then one day there was a flash sale on Amazon and it was like $55 for another one. So I was like, I'm just going to have two in case I ever need two of the same microphone.
Yeah.
For stuff like what we did. If I ever had a friend over and wanted to do a little simple podcast, I could just put these mics on stands and we could chit chat. So, but it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Other than the fact that like bullying you in person and bullying you over webcam is just very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just very different. That's all.
Oh, I don't know.
But no, I had fun with that. That was actually that was fun. I wasn't worried that it was going to be stressful, but it was like after a long, fun, but exhausting weekend, it was the last thing I had to check off the list that wasn't just like eat dinner and rest and relax. Yeah. So, it could have been a pain, but instead it was really fun. I just wish that it hadn't had so much hubbub beforehand. I wish that we had just plugged everything in and went, yay, we're ready. And that was it. That would have been a little on the nicer side. But I think it turned out well. We got a lot of really nice feedback from people saying how cool it was to hear us in the same room, see us in the same room.
Cool.
So now they have proof we are not the same person because we appeared in the same room at the same time. Although we never reached across and touched each other. So maybe it was split screen.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean,
still don't know.
If we were the same person, it would take just imagine the amazing amount of like editing and writing, like the amount of production that would go into that so that we could like interrupt each other. And so it could feel completely and utterly unscripted. Like imagine. So honestly, if somebody had done that for like 88 episodes, I wouldn't put it past them to do a split screen episode. Just wouldn't even be that much more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, good job. So, I mean, me
job.
And then also you.
Oh my gosh. Well, so I guess I should talk about the big thing that's going on in my life, just to get it out of the way and hopefully not cry. So I got back from the East Coast on Monday evening, and I was pretty tired. You know, I know I've talked to you about this a lot, but I haven't really talked to anybody else about it. I've been recovering from the COVID for a while now, and I'm doing a lot better. I mean, a month and a half ago or whatever, when I was filming that movie, I was like suffering after working so hard for days. This show, I mean, I was up, super late at night, not getting a ton of sleep, running around, being out in the sun all day. And I did pay for it, but not like as dearly as I have before. So it's like, while I did end up, in my opinion, sicker than I would normally be from not sleeping and running around, it really wasn't that bad. I consider this like a big positive statement about my well-being.
Yeah.
I'm clearly getting better. Clearly.
I'm really glad.
It's taking a while, but it is totally happening.
Yeah.
Because I remember about halfway through the second day at Joe Bob's Jamboree, I remember I turned to Rachel and I was like, I'm handling all of this really well. And Rachel was like, you are like, you've been walking around in the sun all day, just drinking water and having fun. And I was like, yeah, I'm having a blast. And I don't feel bad. I don't, there were a couple of moments where I was like, I should just sit for a minute.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too bad. So that all to be said, that when I got back on Monday, I was completely and utterly exhausted. Tuesday was like a blur because I was so exhausted. And then by the time I was starting to feel human again, it was Wednesday. And that was the day that Chicano, my dog, one of my two rescues, needed to go to the cardiologist. And for those who have not been following along, Chicano was supposed to have a surgery, a kind of standard surgery. He was just having a tumor that is probably benign removed. And while they were hooking him up to the equipment, they didn't like the way his heart rate sounded. They didn't like the way his heartbeat sounded. They were like, he may have a arrhythmia. And if that's the case, we shouldn't do anesthesia because it could hurt him. So they were like, we can do it anyway, but since it's not a life-saving medical procedure, we'd recommend you just postpone. So we postponed. And first and foremost, I want to say this was in the middle of Henwolf needed a lot of veterinary care too. And the vet bills were racking up really hard. And this is the first thank you of the show. Massive thank you. Lots and lots and lots of people went out and bought movies on henflix.com or bought t-shirts on henflix.com, just bought things knowing that I was going through a financially challenging time. Thank you a million times. Thank you. It's not like everybody's paid for all of the vet bills, but they've paid for more than half of the vet bills. That's huge because I'm prepared to take care of my dogs. It's just, usually it's not like several $1,000s to take care of my dogs at the vet. It's usually like maybe $1,000, but not several thousand.
Yeah.
So anyway, but Wolfie's doing great, by the way. Her incontinence medicine appears to be working almost flawlessly. She had one teeny accident. I'll mention that to the vet. We may increase her dosage. We may not. We'll see. But it's a massive improvement. And that's what really matters, is that her quality of life is better. Because I love these goddamn dogs, and I will go into all the debt there is in the fucking world to make sure they get the right medical treatment. I don't care. I really don't. But I am human and I worry. So fast forward to the first day I'm feeling human is the day I have to take Chicano to the cardiologist. And Chicano is napping right under my feet right now, and he is being a very good boy, by the way. And he seems to be well, other than the fact that he hates his new fancy vest, which I'll get to in a minute. Which his vest was so expensive, I'm surprised it's not like a designer brand. Anyway, but so I take him to the cardiologist. They do a workup on him, and they tell me they told me this was all good news because some of it sounds like bad news, but the vet was like, no, this is good news. The arrhythmia was incredibly minor, what they would call like a very minor heart murmur. And it was very likely, the diagnosis was that it's caused by very, very early or mild heart disease, which is not uncommon for a dog his age to have mild heart disease, because as you get older, your heart wears out a bit. And I mean, unfortunately, as morbid as I feel talking about this stuff, I adopted my dogs older, and I have to accept and sometimes it's easier than other days, but I accept that like they're not going to be here forever. So, my goal is to get them as far, to get them to live as long as possible, happily and comfortably.
Yeah.
So when I hear the doctor say like, oh yeah, he has like mild heart disease, and then say, but it's completely appropriate for how old he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't have like early onset heart disease or anything. His heart is where we would expect. They also, because they scanned his heart fully, there are no clots, no tumors, no nothing. So she said his heart's actually very healthy.
Good.
Overall. Good. But so when I went there, I was prepared to pay $865 for a battery of tests, which is a lot of money, but not crazy. But then I was told the problem is since he needs a surgery, the heart murmur can be serious. If it turns out that they misdiagnosed the heart murmur and that it's actually more severe than they think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only way to properly diagnose a heart murmur is to do a 24-hour monitor of his heart. Just to make sure that the arrhythmia is never unusual beyond what they think. Because they think it's a very standard minor arrhythmia right now. That's what the diagnosis is on the paper they gave me, which I've read like 6 times because I just don't like relaxing or resting or feeling okay.
Yeah,
So that vest made the grand total $1,450. But I'm going to do it. I mean, I'm doing it. He's wearing his vest right now. He hates it, by the way. He hates that vest so much, and I don't know why it bothers him so much. But I mean, it not like bothers, like he's not scratching at it or in pain. He's just got a malaise about it being on. Earlier today, he was getting up on the couch and he had both his front legs up on the couch and one back leg on the couch. And he had one back leg just on the floor. And he's just looking at me like, I can't do it. And I was like, dude, you're almost there. You can do it. He's like, I can't do it. It's impossible. And I'm like, dude, just like push. You're almost on the couch. He's like, it's impossible. This thing is ruining my life. And I'm like, dude, just get up. And then he's like, and then he just gets up the rest of the way and lays down. And then he just looks at me like, yeah, that was a fluke. Life is suffering. And I'm like, dude, Chicano, I'm trying my best, man. So it looks like, because I even asked the vet after she said all of the stuff that was confusing because, she's a doctor and doctors are confusing. After all of that, I said, so what you're saying is it looks like he's fine. And she was like, yes, that's what I'm really saying. Now, of course, because he has early onset heart disease, they recommend that we monitor his heart for the rest of his life. We every 6 to 9 months, we take him to a cardiologist and get a basic exam just to make sure his heart's doing okay. And maybe every so often we x-ray his chest too, to see what the size of his heart is. It is what it is. He's an older dog. He's going to get the care he needs, period. That's all. That's all there is to it. But there is a part 2 to this. So the emotional roller coaster of worrying about Chicano and then finding out he's going to probably be okay, but then also finding out they need to charge me way, 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 way more.
Yeah.
Was a lot to take on, and I took it in stride as best I could. But I'm going to be really candid today, as opposed to other weeks when I'm completely guarded and never say what I think. I 1,400. I'm just trying to like gather my thoughts. So I spent like $900 on the vet with Henwolf and Chicano initially, with everything. And I was able to offset it by selling some movies and stuff. And I'm really grateful, but I could handle that. This $1,450, and knowing that once his heart is understood and under control, then I have to pay $700 to get him surgery again. Like it starts to weigh on me.
Yeah.
And to be honest, my attitude has always been when like a big financial thing comes down, I'm like, oh, well, time to shoulder it, just put it over your back and go. And it was starting to crush me. And I talked to a couple friends and a couple of people and said, like, I kind of want to like ask, go on Facebook and just like try to raise this money because this is creating a hardship for me, like a real hardship. And I don't use that term lightly. Hardships are a serious thing to me. And I felt embarrassed even thinking that I should ask. But, it was put into context. A few friends were pointing out, like, you do this for other people, but not for you. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's different, And I guess what I'm saying is I feel kind of mad at myself because I decided to be so fucking macho that I had to be like, well, yeah, I mean, I help other people out and I encourage other people to ask for help because that's important. But I'm the one who helps people. I'm not the one who asks for help.
Yeah.
And that's a stupid, toxic mindset. It is. And I'm glad that I realized that I stopped and really thought about everything and went, you know what? This is really fucking me up and I need some help.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anyone would be mad that I asked for it.
No.
So that being said, in the first 5 hours that it was up, we raised almost $1,000 of the $1,415 or the goal. And when I woke up this morning, we were at $1,470. And I mean, it was such an incredible combination of like old friends, current friends, new friends, a couple of strangers who just, because there are people, I do it. I don't know if you do this, but I do that. Like I see like, GoFundMe's or random things for like pets, and I throw $10 in to strangers sometimes. I do. I like to. It feels good. So as of recording this, I have no idea if it'll grow anymore. And I've already told everybody who's contributing, and I'll mention this here. If you're listening to this and for some reason you want to help Chicano with his vet bills, you just have to find me on Facebook. That's the only, I mean, I can't help you find it any faster. Find me on Facebook. You'll find the link. Any pennies that go over the $1,450 are going to go toward his surgery to remove his tumor. But I want to make this very clear. This is not a Sarah McLachlan, like, please help save the animals routine. Mm-hmm. If I had raised $0 from that fundraiser, Chicano already got his treatment. Already got his testing. No treatment yet, but testing. He already got it. I put it on my credit card. This is all going on my credit card. So when you come through and either donate to the podcast, which thank you, Craig Cohen, by the way, he donated to the podcast when he heard that Chicano was having issues. In fact, I think he donated more than once. Thank you, Craig. He's always such a sweetheart. Any money that goes over that amount is just going to go to about the roughly $700 surgery he needs soon. But he's going to get that surgery no matter what. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. That's all. So when you're contributing or whatever, you're just lightening the load on me. That's all. You're not saving my pets because they are safe because I love them and will always take care of them. So what you're doing is just sparing me a little bit of struggle. And that makes me a little bit even more emotional because you're not, because you're not saving a cute animal. You're just helping me save a cute animal. You're just making it less challenging for me.
Yeah.
And that's why it like really moved me because, that's why, because that's the urgency was only, hey, Henrique's really stressed out because he's spending so much money helping his dogs. And people were like, we got to help that, man. And it just means a lot to me because I've never done a personal fundraiser ever. I was going to do a personal fundraiser when I had my gallbladder surgery because that was really expensive. Mm-hmm. But then I made a movie sale that actually paid for the whole thing. And I'm very fortunate that that's the way that went. But, it's just hard because like I've run fundraisers for other people and I've promoted fundraisers for other people, but I've never done it for myself. And I did feel a little guilty asking for help, which is stupid. Really fucking stupid. So thank you is all I want to say. If you're listening to this and you happen to be one of the people who helped, or even somebody who, because by the way, people also wrote me messages wishing us well, and saying, unfortunately I don't have any extra money right now. And I was like, dude, don't like put yourself in a hardship. Like moving the hardship from me to you is not accomplishing anything. We want less hardship in the world, not less me hardship in the world. Mm-hmm. I just, thank you. Cause it really means a lot, especially cause like when I'm sitting alone, with my thoughts and stuff. And then I've had people, send me messages, telling me stories about their pets, whether they're with us anymore or they're gone and just telling me like, I know how much joy they bring and I hope you're okay because, I know how much I love my dogs or I love how much I love my cat. And it just, all of that has made a huge difference for me. I really mean that. So, So thank you guys. Thank you all. That's all. I just wanted to make sure I thanked people. I'm okay. I'm a little on the tired side, but I'm okay. And Chicano's doing great. He just set his little cold nose on my toe and scared the shit out of me. So he's doing his normal Chicano stuff. He's gonna be so happy when this vest comes off at like 5:30 p.m. today. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's going to be so happy. I like the comments I've gotten from people of the picture of him in his little vest. People are like, it looks like a tack vest. It looks like he needs a hat and a gun, like. So anyway, I'm just very grateful. I got to wake up in a deep form of gratitude today. And it's still early today, man. Do you get this, or is it just me, that if there's something you generally always do at a certain time, if you do it at a different time, it still puts your mindset into the time that you would normally do it?
Maybe.
Well, like for instance, we're recording this in like 10 in the morning on a Thursday, when generally, not always, but often we record at like 2 p.m. on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that feels like it's at least the afternoon.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I'm like, so that's the other thing is I'm like, man, I got a lot to do and not a lot of time. Actually, I've got all the time in the world, because when this is done, it's just the barely lunchtime, So anyway, I don't want to go on and on and on about that, because I'll cry more, and that pleases Michelle too much. So what's been going on over there, Michelle? I mean, it's weird because we just talked Sunday, but tell me about what's going on over there.
What is going on over here?
You're going to be difficult? Is that what you're going to do?
Like, what do you want to know?
How are you? What have you been up to?
I'm not good.
I know.
I don't know. I'm just, I don't know, like work. And then I'm going to, one of my neighbors just, is under contract with a house that they want to buy. And I'm going to go hang out with them while they have their home inspection today and make sure that like nothing gets missed by their home inspector or anything. So you're
going to be their ringer, their extra home inspection.
Yeah.
So will this be technically your first like professional? Well, I mean, but you are inspecting a home, and it's not under the supervision of another home inspector. I'm
not inspecting a home. I'm just like, because he's there. So I'm just pretending. I'm just like hanging out.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so you're like watching over their shoulder, going like, "You're doing it wrong."
Yeah, pretty much. But like, we're gonna pretend that I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna make sure that like he doesn't miss things that I think are important. Or that because I'm sure that they got an inspector that was recommended by their agent. Because a lot of times people do, and I just you don't know how, like who the agent deals with, because some of them will like only take inspectors that like kind of do it not a great job, so that they'll buy a house so that they can get sales. And PA is just really weird with because there's like no licensing really or anything, so you just never know who you're gonna get. Not that you know who you're gonna get anywhere else.
Well,
but
yeah.
But
well, that's nice of you. So you're just being a mensch. That's all.
I mean, I'm just gonna look at a house. Like I'm not. Like,
you're just being a mensch for your neighbor.
No.
Yes, you are. That's literally what you're doing. Okay. You can't deny that you're not doing a kindness just out of the kindness of your heart.
I just want because I just want to go look at their house. That's it. Like,
it's entirely selfish. I want to look at their house.
I want to see what the house looks like inside.
Oh, Michelle.
So I hope I'm not like a hindrance. I hope that I'm helpful. If I'm not helpful, I'm going to be really sad.
That's what you say about everything. That's what you said the time we went out to get Chinese food. You were like, I hope I'm not a hindrance.
But I am usually, so.
Did you see that Facebook comment where because I posted, said like, now I'm going to go see Michelle, and you were like, hooray for all but the last thing, or something like that. You said something really self-deprecating, and one of the fans of the show commented and said, that's on brand for Michelle.
Yeah.
I I think that I'm going to embrace that. I'm going to embrace on brand. Whenever you say something self-deprecating, like, yes, very on brand. Good. So at this juncture, you are all done with your education. I mean, except for taking a test.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're done taking your classes for home inspecting.
For New Jersey. Yeah.
You're done taking the classes for New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have more classes to take for PA?
Well, for PA, I have to I'm technically a member of Internachi already, but really, because they're like, you have to be a full member. It's like, that's not a thing, guys. But, like, I'm trying to get certified with Internachi as well. So they have a couple of courses that I'm taking as well right now. Like, it's just about their standards of practice and all that stuff. So I'm still taking classes, but not like the classes to get licensed in New Jersey. Those are
okay.
done.
So when do you think you'll be taking your exam?
I don't know. I'm so scared. I feel like I don't know anything, and I don't want to fail because it's like $225 or something crazy like that, and I don't want to have to take it again.
I think you're gonna be fine long as you study.
There's so much. I could study the wrong things, and then I'll be like, but I know this one thing, and it's like not on there.
I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure much dumber people than you are home inspectors. No offense out there, home inspectors, but it's not like it's in conjunction with Mensa. Okay? Like, what? I'm just saying, like, it's not impossible. It's like, I haven't, the last time I took a test, I believe was my driver's test when I was 18 years old. That's the last time I ever took a test. And I remember being scared, and I didn't fail the written test the first time, but I failed the driving test the first time.
Yeah.
But I remember both on the written test and on the driving test thinking like, oh my God, like I barely studied for the written test, by the way. That was a horrible move. I read the book once and then just took it.
Yeah, I think I did something like that too.
That's what my mom told me to do. She was like, just read the book and then take the test. It was really not very hard. But I remember my mother having to tell me when I was like, oh God, especially when I failed the first driving test, my mom was like, well, she calls me Ricky. So she was like, Ricky, literally idiots have driver's licenses. Like people who are literally so stupid, it would blow your mind, have their driver's license. I love my mother and I love the way she talks. Literally would blow your mind how stupid they are. They have their driver's license. So you will too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I don't believe that people who are breathtakingly stupid are home inspectors, but I just mean like, I guarantee someone dumber than you is a home inspector.
Is that even possible though? Like,
I like how you keep moving the goalpost. One day you're just a terrible person. The next day you're the dumbest person. You've got to make up your mind, Michelle.
I can't be terrible and stupid at the same time.
No, because being terrible requires cunning. Cunning requires intelligence.
Well, what if I'm just not book smart? So
what you're saying is you're street smart.
No.
It's so nice to hear you say something positive about yourself for once. I'm happy to hear that.
Oh.
You are street smart. You're a smart person.
Street smart.
Yeah. Michelle, say one positive thing about yourself.
No, it'll hurt too much.
Well, I think that you are going to do great when you take your test. I really sincerely do.
Thanks. I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. Like, I'm really sorry about that camera movement. I really don't think I'm going to do a good job. I'm really concerned. I mean, and I'm going to study a bunch, but like, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything. I don't know what size gauge, like the little 20 amp breaker. What size gauge wire does that need? Is it a 10? Is it a 12? It's not a 15.
Everyone knows that's
no,
a 12.
It's a 14. Is it 12?
No, I'm just making stuff
I think
up.
it might be a 10. But see, like, I don't know that.
But you're going to study, you're going to be prepared, and you're going to do a good job.
Oh, and which is the line and the air condition that goes in? And which is the one that goes out? Because I don't know right now.
You will know, though. I know you will.
Okay.
I am positive. There are a few things in this world I have absolute confidence in, and one of them is you, Michelle.
But then I'm going to fail, and then you're going to be like, oh, man, I misplaced my confidence.
It's not true. Michelle, if by some strange fate you fail your first attempt at the test, let me finish. If by some strange fate you fail your first attempt at the test, you're just going to go back and nail it again.
Okay.
But I mean it. God damn it. I fucking mean it. You're going to do great. Because you are a resilient person. And I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
I mean that, though. I'm not just saying it to like build you up. It's the truth. But it's okay to be worried and, well, it has to be. Otherwise, what would you do with yourself? If you couldn't worry and doubt yourself. I mean,
but I don't think any of that's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just default Michelle stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if, I mean, then you'd just be a pile of hair if you had no self-loathing, right?
Yeah. That's really all I got.
You're gonna kill this. I know it.
Thanks.
So you got this, man.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So now that I made things heavy, let's talk about dead family members. No.
Thanks for listening. You can email us at thisshowis awkward@gmail.com or go to awkwardshow.com or whatever. See you next time.